I'm only taking one step at a time towards healing myself. I had to get out, I found a way out. No more living in pain or misery. It's all about protecting my energy. Keep the negative away from me, because I am just keeping my peace. Cut off everything that no longer was serving me, and I chose to start loving myself. I walk in my purpose, no looking back, I'm only going within. B.O. standing there, a better version of me. I must say that I'm proud of me. It's not about how you feel, I'm living proof that God is real. So let me show you how to heal. Damn it, I'm wearing it well, cause I came a long way. My journey isn't yet complete, that's what it look like to heal. Damn it, I'm wearing it well, I'm proud of myself. It's nothing to it, you can do it, all you gotta do is just fight through it. Creative soul, creative soul, creative soul. Just fight through it. Creative soul, creative soul, creative soul, creative soul, yeah, yeah.
Coming back from Sacramento, I find out that she's pregnant. So at that point, obviously I'm in disbelief that it's mine, but I'm gonna go ahead and roll with it and kind of see where, see what's gonna happen, and just kind of just ride it out. And during this pregnancy, we had a lot of disagreements, because obviously it's a lot of pent up frustration. I'm not believing her, and she's whatever on her regular shit. And at this time, I was kind of like back and forth with my current and her at the time.
So stop right there. Hold on. Stop right there. So you moved to Sacramento with your brother.
Right.
You decided to come back. And when you
Uh-huh.
came back, you were in a relationship with somebody, or you started seeing somebody, and then you decided to go back to the wife.
Right.
So you
So me
guys
and
had kind of still been back and forth.
Yeah, so yeah, a lot of it was
Okay.
just a lot of back and forth. Don't get me wrong, this ain't the first time that I, got, with the current situation I'm in now. This was just another time I went back, was going back and forth from that. So,
So every time you guys would, well, not every time you guys would break up, but there's a few times you guys broke up and then you would get with
yeah,
somebody else or go back
yeah.
to somebody else and then okay.
So yeah, we did a lot of back and forth. So within this time frame, I believe her cousin was staying with us at the time, and we had gotten to we got into an argument because I guess I went to go grab one of my drinks out of the refrigerator, and come to find out it had like foot powder in it. So she had put like foot powder in my drink, but
Foot
she lied.
powder?
Yeah, she's trying to knock me down, man. She's trying to knock me down. So she put foot powder in my drink, denied it, lied about it because I confronted her about it. She tried to say it wasn't her, and I know that the foot powder could only come from one spot, and that was in our room. The only one had access to our room was her. So she tried to play it off and try to blame it on her cousin and say it was some, try to blame it everybody else for her. So we got into a whole altercation with that. So that's
So
you
wait a
know that was
minute. How did you know it was foot powder? You tasted it? You actually drank
absolutely.
it, or you could?
I tasted it.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
She let, I went on and drunk some of it, and noticed it was obviously tasting funny. He looked at the bottom of the container. It's white powder. I mean, at the bottom of the container, just clumped up. It's just a big, thick layer of white powder up
Okay.
underneath from on the bottom of this container. So I confronted her about it. It gets, it gets aggressive, physical. It turns into a situation. It gets bad. So at that
Wait,
point,
wait, wait, wait. So you said it was physical. What happened?
well, um, when I talked to her about it, she decided to, want to try to she wanted to try to get physical. So she's like trying to push, she want to push and cuss and do all the other stuff. So, when she decided to do what she did, I think I had like some lotion or some crazy shit like that. And I just flung the fucking lotion all on the mirror, all on her. She gets mad and furious because she getting hit with lotion. So now she's, taking stuff and pouring more shit and pouring it on me, and now we going back and forth. She pushing me. I'm trying to block her, trying not to get pushed. And then she's, getting more furious because she wanted to throw more shit. So we back and forth throwing shit at each other as far as like lotion and whatever the fuck she could never grab. I don't know, mouthwash, whatever the fuck. Just grabbing stuff, and we just kind of just going back and forth, just tussling and shit like that. I'm trying to push her off. She trying to push me, grab me. I'm trying to basically defend myself because I don't hit women. That's just not what I do. But I was gonna try to protect myself the best way I could. So this goes on. So you know, obviously when all that dies down, as we all know, situations die down. We know what happens to that. It's cable session. What I'm saying? It's a cable session starts after all of that's died down. And when I say
Sir, I
cable, I
think you
mean,
should Sir, I think you should cut your cable off.
well, let me put some emphasis on the whole cable situation. The cable babies are for the people that don't have cable. When you have basic TV and there's nothing to watch, and you are obviously doing what you're doing because there is nothing to watch, there's nothing to do. You looking in her face and she looking in your face. So let's do what we do. That's what I mean. I had to make sure I cleared the whole
Okay.
cable baby thing up. So
Okay.
that's what I mean. So that we have that situation. We go into that. Everything is somewhat on the up and up after the whole whatever session. So I think the next day I end up going to work. I told my son at the time that I was going to, he was telling me he was having some issues at school. So I told him, I said, when I get off of work, I'm gonna go ahead and go to school. We're gonna have this situation handled. We're gonna get it right. I'm gonna help you get it right. So I get off of work. I tell her, I'm going to go take, our son to the school and this and that and the third and get everything right. She gets mad. Oh, why you trying to do that? You trying to upstage me? And how you going and this, that, the third? You ain't told me about this. And I'm like, well, when I was on the phone with him, which when you had the phone and you gave it to me so I could talk to him, I discussed this with him and you heard everything. So when I tried to go forward with what I told my son, because I promised him, that situation got physical. She went and took a knife, put it into my tire. The police got called. She played some kind of rigged up, doctored up video of one of my children professing something that was done to her that never happened. She's coaching her and coercing her to say things that didn't happen. She decided to show this to the police when they arrived, of this quote alleged stuff that happened. And at this point, they
So
tell me
wait, she called the police or you called the police?
I believe I called the police because at that
Okay.
point, it was getting physical. She grabbed a knife. When she grabbed a knife, it was time. It's time to call the police. I'm calling the police. I feel threatened. So I call the police. They come and she does her act. She likes to go into these acts. Oh, he did this, blah blah blah. He did this. He, wants to play the damsel in distress role and make it seem like she's just being under a tremendous attack. In the midst of this situation, you know how this goes. They separate the parties. One party goes and does their thing, another party does the other. In the midst of her, talking to this police officer on the side, she decides to show him a video of one of my babies proclaiming something happened to her, something that we allegedly did or was done to her that was never done. So she just just basically just coached her into saying some shit. So at that point, the officers was like, "Well, you gotta leave. You gotta leave the house. You can't be here. This, that, and the third." I'm like, "Well, why do I have to leave? This is my house." Yada yada yada. So they tell me to leave. This when I leave, we end up getting a separation or a breakup. This is another breakup. So I go to my mom's. So she then at the time too, mind you, at the time she was kind of doing her thing too. So she's back and forth with people too. So it's not just when just a me thing. She was back and forth doing her thing as well. So I guess she goes to go get a checkup because she's pregnant. Mind you, remember she's pregnant. So when she goes and gets this checkup for the baby or whatever, she finds out she has a STD. So when she finds out she has a STD, it's that bitch that you was messing with. Whoop, whoop, whoop. She wants to put it all on me and my current, saying it was me. Now, when all with that being said, my current and her are both pregnant at the same time. So my current goes and gets a test as well because I let her know what the situation was. She goes and gets a test. She don't have nothing. She don't have that. She don't have the STD, which leaves me and my ex and whoever she was messing with had whatever he had. Because if my current don't have it and me and you do, it's obviously something that you got from whoever else you was messing with on the side. So she was just making it seem like all it was me. I gave her this STD and yada yada yada. So this particular child, we stayed apart almost the whole entire pregnancy. She had this kid without me, renamed the kid, didn't tell me when she was going to have the baby, didn't tell me when she was in labor. I wasn't able to go to the hospital. I didn't get to nothing. I didn't get to put my name on the birth certificate. She totally kept me out of it. Now, all my other kids, I was at all their births, cut all their umbilical cords. All of them bear my last name. But for some reason, mind you, I gotta remember, I said I was in Cali, came back, she was pregnant. All of a sudden, with this particular child, I'm not allowed at the birth. She changes the kid's name, and then puts her last name on this kid. So y'all, you tell
What
me.
do you mean she changes the name? So you guys that came up with the name?
Yeah, we came up with a name of the baby. Me and her together
Okay.
collectively, we came up with a name.
Okay.
Obviously, at the time, thinking it's mine. So we come up with a name. We get into it. The whole situation with the STD and all this stuff is we get into a separation. So that causes the separation more or less, the whole STD thing, even though it was already bad after the whole thing with my son and trying to go get him help from school and the tire thing and all of that. That's what basically got it set up. And then we find out after the fact, after I'm already out of the home, that she has this quote unquote STD that I gave her. Like I said, only ones came back with it was me and her. So um, she then has this baby while I'm at my mom's. Like I said, everything, the whole nine. Named the baby, renamed it, gave her last name, the whole nine. Then she goes after she has the baby. We rekindle, get back, get back right after this, and then after we get back right, we end up falling out again. This is the nature of our relationship. We fall out, we fall in, we fall out, we fall in, and
So
it's
the
just
pretty much the whole relationship was toxic.
very, very. I've got locked up for two domestic violence charges with this woman and lost. I mean, this woman has got me fired from jobs. She's showing up at my jobs, uh, telling people that I beat women and all kinds, calling my jobs, cussing out my supervisors, and all kinds of stuff. So this is
So whenever she became violent with you and the police were called, she was never locked up or questioned.
Never locked up, never questioned. The only one that would usually get locked up or told to leave would be me. I would
And
always.
do you believe that was because of your size? They felt like she wasn't
Um,
capable of doing something like that because of your size at the time.
yeah, I believe. Well, it's funny you said that because when remember I was telling you about the first situation when we was at the apartment. They told me, "You mean to tell me you can't move this? This 100 some odd pound woman, you can't move her out the way, and as big as you are, you can't move her out the way?"
Yeah,
And
that's
that,
what made me think of that.
yeah, so yeah, basically, yeah, it was because of my size. My size was looked at as an intimidation factor, and I was looked at as the aggressor, the one that was, being the violent one. But I think it was just one of those things where you're just being judged by your appearance. And
So, can you think of a time where a situation happened where it got physical, and was a family member ever there to, I know you mentioned a cousin before, but was a family member ever there, like, to witness and be able to tell the police, like, hey, this is what happened, this is what we saw, and this is what she did? Like, did
I
you
know.
ever have a witness?
Well, I had a situation at the apartment. My mother was there, and she was throwing stuff out the window and tearing up a lot of the stuff that my mother had gave us for the apartment. So my mom witnessed that one. It was another situation where she had got out of the car, or got out of her car, and approached my mom and poked my mother in the forehead in trying to provoke her and put hands on my mom. And that was another situation that got volatile as well. It was another situation where I got to go over to the house knowing that she was gone, and I knew she wasn't going to let me grab my kids at the time. So I went over there and grabbed my kids, and she and her brother pursued me and my mom all the way down to her house, throwing bottles and things of that nature in traffic while we're in traffic. So we're almost like driving right next to each other. She's throwing bottles and being violent with her brother in the car, trying to pursue us because she know I went to grab my kids. So my mom has definitely witnessed a significant amount of things. She's filed false police reports saying that me and my mother jumped her. I quote unquote held her up while my mom punched her in the stomach while she was allegedly pregnant. And
Now, did you or your mother ever get in trouble for that, or questioned
you know,
about it or anything?
we never got in trouble for it because it was a false police report. It was just,
So
her
they
just,
knew it was false.
yeah, it was a false police report. It was no evidence or anything like that that showed that we had touched her because we would never do nothing like that. We don't. That's not what we do. So I
So
mean,
now I remember you said when she was, I think, 18, or you were 18, when you guys had the first baby, and you said that she had lied about her parents kicking her out. Now at this
right.
point you guys are together, you've had children together. Now, did you ever figure out, like, how good or bad her relationship was, like, in her past or with her family members? Like, was she aggressive with them, or
Um, I didn't. I didn't really get to talk to her parents really at all for the most part. I think like during like certain situations where we got kicked out or we lost certain spots and we had to go over there and be with her mom. So at this time, I'm kind of living with her mom briefly and not knowing nothing about her, not having any conversation with her, not having a relationship with her. So in regards of her mom, we've never really had a fruitful relationship, so to speak. So we always been strangers throughout the duration of this whole entire relationship I had with her daughter.
but how did she speak to her mother? What was the communication with her
Um,
mother? And the reason why I'm asking you this is because sometimes people behavior, if they're doing it to you, it kind of make you wonder, like, did they do this to people that was in their life before you? That's what I was wondering.
It was disrespectful. She was disrespectful to her mom. Absolutely. I mean, there was times where, for like I said, when we lived with them briefly, with her mom briefly, she was bad disrespectful to her mother. She definitely was disrespectful. She talked to her bad like a dog. She talked to her like a motherfucker in the streets, and
Hmm.
that's the way she was. Now she was scared of her father, so she really didn't like come at him like that. But
Oh,
she
really?
definitely, yeah, she was scared of her father, so she wasn't bold enough to really take it there with him. But that mother was, she was very disrespectful, and even and her mom was aggressive. For the brief time frames that I was around in fragments and pieces, she was aggressive. She's
Wait, her mom was
you
aggressive to who?
her mom, her and her mom would have, arguments or spats, and her mom would get, disrespectful with her mouth, and they would talk to each other in a very, very aggressive, disrespectful kind of way.
Oh, so they didn't
Okay,
have respect
definitely
for each other. Okay.
not at all. So you could kind of tell where it stemmed from because
Hmm.
they both kind of had the same kind of like get down. Their get down was very similar.
Okay.
So, it's like a older, like I was dealing with the younger version of what her mom used to be back in her heyday, pretty much.
Okay.
So,
So
yeah.
at what point, so all these years that you're saying it was toxic and it was on and off, and then you guys both would go date somebody else and get back together. At what point did you say enough is enough and my life's got to get better than this?
Well, it was a time frame because it was all about, she wanted to like get some division, some separation between my mom and my father and the family that I had out here. So she wanted to basically isolate and get away. So I said,
Hmm.
okay, let's try something different. Maybe we should get away so we can kind of branch out and see what we can do as just parents and not have to be codependent on anybody. So I
Okay.
decided to take a Hail Mary and we decided to leave Vegas and go to Tennessee. So we went to Tennessee
Okay.
and go ahead. So like I said, we went and moved to Tennessee, trying to find a common ground. Maybe we can rekindle, get things back right, and things of that nature. So we get out there, and still the same old same. I'm out there working. She not working, not really doing much to help me. We get into it about you know she's thinking that I'm trying to plot and plan to steal the kids and take them back home with me, and it was just still volatile. And we got into a one. I remember one time we got into a tussle over the cell phone. Um, I had my phone, and I think she had her phone, and I think we was tussling over the phones, and in the midst of it, I think I don't know. She called no, she called the police and made it seem like she was getting attacked and all these things. And when the police come, I just got out of the car and just walked away. I didn't say anything. I didn't stop. I didn't look back. I just kept walking. In the midst of all of this, she's running up to them saying this and that and the third. It's the whole damsel in distress. She's gotten attacked kind of shit, and I'm just walking off. In the meanwhile, I have her phone, and her phone is still open to this police call because she's still, when you call the police, they want you to stay on the phone until they know you're safe and things of that nature.
Hmm.
So while I have her phone, I'm walking off with the phone, and I, end up, since the phone's on, I end up looking into it and notice that she has another guy in the phone, in a compromised position, so to say the least, you know, and I noticed that, and when everything kind of like cleared off and cleared away, I went back, and she
So
was
wait,
at
you
this.
said in a compromised position. What exactly?
He had his private area out and was,
Okay, so it was pictures. Okay.
it was a video, more or less.
Okay. Okay.
So he had a video of himself, and this is a guy that she had quote unquote was no longer dealing with, and they had text messages of them meeting to each other at the apartment that we were in before we left to go to Tennessee. So she was basically setting up times to meet up with him, letting him know when I was gone, and all of this stuff. All the while she's making it seem like I'm the one doing all these things, and she has a whole secret private relationship with this guy. Then when everything goes left, she decides to, we get back home. When I get back home after the police and everything cleared out, I end up talking to them, explaining to them what was going on in the whole nine. I get back home, she, wants her phone. I told her I tossed it, threw it away, but I actually had kept the phone and kind of had it hid. But she then decided to say, well, I'm gonna go ahead and, contact him on my daughter's, I think, messenger. And she basically, reached out to this guy on my daughter's messenger, and then was proclaiming that I'm gonna have him send me some money so he can buy me a new phone, yada 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 yada. All of this stuff is going on, and at that point, I just was like, well, you know what, man, this gotta stop. This gotta come to an end. So I went to work like regular. But mind you, when she was out of the way, when she was asleep or was occupied, I was secretly packing stuff into the car because I already knew once I went to work, I wasn't coming back home.
Mhm.
I had already talked to my two kids, let them know like, yo, man, I'm gonna leave. I would
Mhm.
like to tell y'all now. I would love to sit down with you guys and let you know that I would just like to leave in a proper way, but you guys know that's not gonna happen. She's not gonna let that happen. So I end up leaving secretly after I got off of work, and that day was the day that my life took a change for the best because I took a stand and I drove all the way back to Vegas by myself and basically started rerouting myself back in Vegas and started just climbing back up to where you know I needed to be, and that's pretty much how that was the time when I really said this is it. I'm no longer going to accept this type of behavior. And I knew that I couldn't be in my kid's life the way I wanted to because she was just, too controlling. I couldn't even talk to my kids privately. If I talk to my son outside, she coming out there, what y'all talking about? She wants to be
So none of
told.
them knew you were leaving, you're saying?
Only one knew that I was leaving was my oldest, and then my second and my other son, one of my other sons.
Okay.
So those only two of my kids knew. I couldn't tell the other kids because I felt like if I told them, they would let her know that I was going to be leaving, and I didn't want her to
Okay.
know.
It probably would have been a fight.
There would have been a fight. The police would have got involved and things of that nature. So I kind of secretly left, went back to Vegas, and basically started to get myself back on track. Now to backtrack a little bit, uh, when before I left to Tennessee, my son that I have in my current was born, and
Mhm.
I was trying to do the thing where we were gonna, try to co-parent. I was gonna see
Mhm.
my son and visit. She told me
Mhm.
she didn't want me to have anything to do with him, and that was something that did not sit well with me. And I was not going to be able to just have a son that I wasn't going to be involved with because of you. She was dictating and controlling it. So that was
Okay,
something
one
that.
second.
But like I said, I wasn't going to be able to just have a son that I wasn't going to be involved in because of her wanting to dictate and control how I was able to deal with him. So she basically was like, no, you can't see him, you can't be involved with him, and didn't want that to be. So fast forward, we left Tennessee, things of that nature, and then once I got fed up, I left, came back to Vegas, and pretty much started building from the ground floor up, and that just catapulted me into a position where now um, I came out here. I was living with my current. I was living at her parents' house. I was sleeping on her parents' couch, and I was able to get up out of that couch, and then I was able to get into another place, and I had to move up out of that place, and I had to come back to you know where her parents lived, and we moved into an apartment right across from them, and then I was able to now today able to currently buy a condo
So
and
wait. We went from pain to purpose. We going from pain to purpose.
okay,
So
okay.
you realize
Hmm.
that the situation you was in was toxic, and you
Absolutely.
realize that God has so much more in store for you. Is that what you're
Absolutely.
telling me?
yeah, considering after everything I lost, everything I lost, I definitely decided that I'm gonna make something happen for me. I needed to do something for me. I needed to make a stand for myself, and I wanted to be a representation of a good person, good father for my kids to see later on down the line. I wanted them to see me on top, and I didn't want them to see me so broken. I didn't want them to see me so frustrated and irritated and hurt and just down. So I feel like I wanted to like present a strong front for myself. So I really just established things and just started building. Just really started building, like working on my credit and doing all the things that I wasn't doing when I was with my ex, because she had me on the run. I was riding around with suspended license and suspended tags and doing all the things that was the wrong way. I just decided to just stop all of that, ended all of that, and just started to really just build properly. And now I messed around and got married, remarried.
What you mean messed around?
Well,
Messed around. Because
well,
when we happy, we don't say messed around.
no,
So
I don't want to say
was
messed.
it messed around?
I don't want to say messed around. Let me rephrase that. I found
Okay,
a
I'm just
love.
asking.
I found a love that was like no other, and I decided to
Mm,
take advantage of that love and turn it into something real. And I got married. I've been married for like almost 2 years now, and obviously we have a beautiful son, and we've been able to build some positive things together. We got a condo. We're homeowners. Um, I've been on.
congratulations.
Thank you. I've been on my current job for almost 3 years now, as opposed to before I was getting them, losing them, and all of that. And now I've just purchased another car. So now I got
Congratulations.
a new car now. Got a 21 Palisade and all of that. This car I've been gunning for about 2 years now. So I finally got it. I
So,
finally,
it's this scripture that I love. It says that delight thyself in the Lord and he will give you the desires of thy heart. And
yeah,
I love that scripture. And just thinking about all the things that you talked about that you went through. And you grew up in a church, so you knew what was right.
absolutely,
Um,
absolutely.
but a lot of times we do get judged because we grew up in the church and we were taught a certain way.
Yeah,
Um, but
yeah,
what people don't realize is that everybody's human and everybody
absolutely.
make mistakes. And my journey is not your journey is not mine.
No,
And the other thing is that people don't realize is if you had a day that you had to walk in my shoes, ain't no
mm,
way you be able to do it. So
no,
we need to stop judging people and start praying for people, start supporting each other, start empowering each other. And this is why I really, really wanted to do this,
right,
to have people come on and tell their testimony, not to judge them. This is a safe zone. Now I can't control other people's minds of what they may think when they watch it. But what I can do is put it out there where people can be able to tell their testimony, and the ones that hears it and it works for, they take what they need from it
right, right,
to help them in their journey. This is
right.
this is what I'm so passionate about this because I know where I started from and I know where I am now. And
Yeah,
your testimony definitely helps other people. The thing I don't agree with is sometimes people don't like to share because they don't want to see you elevate. But I'm all for everybody elevating, empowering each other.
yeah,
What you say on this platform is definitely going to help some other people. Some people might watch it and be like, okay, it don't apply to me, but it's definitely going to be some people that it applies to because
right,
they're gonna know that maybe it's somebody that's watching it and they may feel like they have low self-esteem at this point in their life. They're gonna see that here's a male that's going through the same thing they're going through, and it could be a male that's going through it, the exact same thing that you went through, or it could be some of the things that you went through, and they're gonna, watching this, and they can think about, if he got out of it, I can get out of it.
Right.
And then
Right.
to see where you started off from, how young you were when you were having babies, and the things that you were going through and didn't know how to navigate through those situations, and now your life has totally changed for the better, which is
Right.
so amazing. Being a homeowner and having the car that you always wanted, a wife that loves you, um, as the king
Yeah.
that you are, and you realizing that being in an abusive relationship is not healthy, but you also realize too that you played a part into like the breakups where you will go to somebody else and get back together, and now you're solely committed to that one person. And so this is black love. I love it. I love it. I love this story. I just think it's so amazing.
Man, I definitely appreciate it. It was, definitely a lot of long suffering, a lot of heartache, pain, triumph, and tribulations. It took a lot of bumps on my head along the way. I went against the grain a lot of times, and you know, decided to try to do things my way. And sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. But I feel like when I really put my boots on and really strapped up and said, "Hey, I'm gonna make something for myself. I'm gonna really push for this." And when I got in that car and drove back to Vegas, I felt like a gigantic weight just like lifted off of my shoulders like no other, man. It was a really, really, like, I don't know, people say out of body experience or epiphany or however which way you want to put it, but it was really eye opening, life changing towards a real life fruitful journey for me. So I'm thankful to be, in the position I am today. I definitely hope this is encouraging to other people that
Most
are in these kind
definitely.
of situations because especially us as men, we don't like to come out and speak about these kind of things because it makes us look weak or it makes us look like we're less than or makes us look like pushovers or whatever the case may be. But I'm none of those things at all. I'm still the strong king and man that I've always been. It just took for me to get away from that demon, that evil entity that was just clouding my better judgment. And now that I'm free from that, I definitely see things a lot more vividly. And I'm thankful, man. I can't do nothing just but thank God and just enjoy the blessings as they keep just raining and pouring in my direction. So I'm just, life is a good thing. I'm getting ready to go on my first cruise.
All
You know,
right, all right.
I went to my first professional NFL football game, and I'm just
Really?
yeah, I went to go see the Vikings play the Raiders this year, and I went to go see the WNBA Aces play this year. So, hey,
So
man,
wait, are you telling me, sir, that you're living and not just existing? Is that what we're
man,
saying?
I'm def- I'm definitely living. Life is definitely good. It's a
Amen.
blessing. I'm able to, go do things that I've never done before. I'm able to go get things that I've never been able to get before. I don't have to go into no stores and be like, should we get this to keep the lights on, or if we get this, it's gonna set us back a few months. I don't have to worry about those things at all. I can go do what I want to do the way I want to do it and not be prohibited by anybody or anything. So I'm thankful, man. It's just don't get no better than this, man. Freedom.
This is amazing, and I don't appreciate you trying to make me cry on today. Like, you know, you know, I know I asked you to come on the show, but crying wasn't a part of it. You know what I'm saying? But
Uh, I love
no, I am. I'm a, anybody that knows me knows that I'm a crybaby. But I definitely love to hear great stories. Not that I want to hear about people's pain. I don't want people to go through pain at all. But I
Right.
definitely want people to share their story and recognize what their purpose is, and that is so amazing. It took me a long time to realize and recognize and accept what my purpose is. And so I'm so glad that you have totally accepted what your purpose is, and that's to share your story along with so many other things. That's so amazing. So many
Yeah.
men and women is going to see this, and lives are definitely going to be changed.
Yeah. I definitely appreciate the opportunity. I appreciate the time to get on here and speak on this platform. I'm loving what you're doing, and congratulations to
Thank
you.
you.
I'm
Thank
extremely
you.
happy for you. You killing it right now. You doing
Thank
your thing.
you.
I'm super, super, super excited for you. I'm probably one of the biggest fans that you probably got on the
Thank
planet.
you.
I'm definitely for real rooting for you. And you gonna win. You already winning. And
Thank you so much.
this right here definitely get ready to take it over the top. And you probably get ready to go crazy with this thing right here. So I'm just
You
glad you.
know, one of the things that I prayed for when I started, well, when I had wrote the book, I never thought that I was going to be here, right? So I
Right.
was just writing during COVID, and then I put the book down, and it's a short read, but I was just writing, and then I just put it down. And so um, last year was hard, after my mom had passed in
Yeah.
2022, December 2022. And then last year, 2023, I had just started working on some things that I had put down, and the book was definitely one of them. But when I started writing it, I started realizing other things about myself. And one of them was that it wasn't just about writing the book to tell a story to help other people, but it was also realizing that it was a generational cycle that I was dealing with and some of the situations I had been in. And so
Yeah.
I knew that um, it was more than just writing that book. The podcast was not even a part of the book. I was
Right.
just, going to write this book and release this book to share and help other people. And then after that, after like toward the end of writing the book or whatever, and I started thinking about this affirmation coloring book for young girls. And it just made me think about when I was younger, the things that I struggled with. Our young girls out here, they need to know that they're loved. They need to know that they're worthy so that they don't get into relationships with men that don't deserve them, or even our young boys feeling like they're not loved, or they're less than, or they can't be something that they really want to be in life, or just dealing with low self-esteem, as some of the things that you spoke about. I want our youth to know that you can get through this. And so I decided I was going to do this affirmation coloring book, which had nothing to do with the book at the beginning. And then it went from that to me being able to be on other podcast shows to share my story. And somewhere in between in there, I ended up with saying I want to have my own platform where people can share their story, and they can be authentic and have a safe space. This is a no judgment zone because we're here to um, heal together and to help the community. And then
Right.
it went from there to so many other things that I can't not wait to be able to release later
Right. Right.
on my podcast. But I am so grateful just for you coming on here, sharing your story and thinking about my story, how far we've come. God is just so he's just so amazing. I can't wait
Yeah.
to see what God has for you next, because like I said, when I was writing the book, the podcast wasn't even in mind. And some of the
Right.
other things that I am doing wasn't even in mind. And so hearing your story, I can't wait for what God has, in store for you, because it doesn't stop here. He has so much more in store for you too.
No, I'm just getting started. I'm just getting started.
That's what I'm
So
talking about.
yeah, the grind don't stop. So
But
I'm
yeah, I can't wait to hear what else God has in store for you. I really wish blessings on top of blessings on top of blessings for you and your other half, your family. You guys are definitely blessed. You're definitely going somewhere. Um, I'm just so excited. So
man.
excited.
I am too, sis. I definitely would like to say this last or this one thing too. I would like to say, just don't let your self esteem dictate your actions and the way you move. Because a lot of times, because we feel like we are not at the same level or less than, or because we don't feel like we're worthy, or we don't feel like we
Mhm.
should be in this kind of space with certain individuals, you tend to take on or accept a lot of things that you naturally know not to accept. And like you said, we brought up in the church, and we stand on morals, and we brought up on what's right, what's wrong, and we also are brought up on what to do when those things when we're faced with such things. But when you feel like you don't have enough, meaning or purpose to actually go in there and like speak on stuff that you feel is out of pocket, you tend to just sit back and be real timid, real quiet, and you eat a lot of stuff that you necessarily wouldn't eat if you was
Mhm.
on top of your game from a moral standpoint, from an emotional standpoint, from a confidence standpoint. So I
Mhm.
feel like, don't let your what you feel far as your self esteem activate how you move with somebody. If it's out of character, it's out of bounds, then you need to check it, stand on it, and do the right thing in that regard. Because what somebody else don't want, somebody else will. So
That's
don't be
right.
stuck with somebody because you feel like this person is just so beautiful or so amazing, or you feel like it's out of your league. So you gotta just kind of gotta deal with it and just kind of go with it and be some pushover. So I would definitely encourage any guys out there that feel like, oh man, I gotta take it because she looked like this. You see how she look, I gotta deal with it. So I'm gonna just let her just keep on running over me and disrespecting me. But no, you don't have to do that. You don't have to, take that kind of stuff. You can stand on business and know that somebody will accept you for who you are. And, keep your confidence level at all time high no matter what the situation is. So that's my words of encouragement for the brothers or the men across this platform, or whoever may come across this video in particular. So
Thank
that's
you
why
for that. Thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for sharing those words of encouragement to the men and to the women too, whoever's out there that's struggling. Now, before we close the show today, I heard from a little birdie that you used to sing this song, and I don't remember the title, but it was something about the prodigal son or something like
oh,
that.
whoa.
Can you give us a little taste? Just.
Trying to see if I can remember the words to that one.
I heard from a little birdie that you used to sing it when you was a little kid.
I did. I'm trying. I like the prodigal son is someone I'm trying to remember. I don't remember the. Ooh, you brought back an old one. I don't remember the words to that.
It is the old one, but you know what? It's so many other ones. So we listening.
Yeah, I got some other ones I can do. I can do it. I
The
can do a
floor is
Jamie.
yours, sir.
Let me see. Well, it's been 5 years. Can't hold back my tears, 'cause I'm just so happy I'm marrying an angel today. Oh, as I take your hand, I vow to be your man. I vow to love, to hold, to cherish, and never disrespect the love we share. I'll be honest, I cannot lie. There'll be real good days, there'll be some bad times. I'll be standing right beside you, my sweet baby. Me and my love of mine. Oh, so as you take this ring, babe, and I place it on your sweet and lovely hand, we will show our kids. They will tell their kids when mom and daddy did on the day I married my angel. Oh, you're my angel. Oh,
Yes, 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 yes.
thank
So
you,
you know
thank
we
you.
definitely gonna have you back on the show for another topic. It might even be just to sing to us. You know, I love music. I love music.
Yeah, thank
Um, I don't know. I might have to, contact your manager because I might need you to
you.
sing, on my wedding day. Just
Hey
saying.
man, you book it. I'm there. I'm there. I got you. I got you.
All right, all right, all right, all right. So, before we end, I got a
Okay,
few questions.
let's get it.
We gotta
Let's get it.
answer it the purpose way.
Oh,
So,
okay.
um, number one. So, if anybody is going through anything, um, what did you suggest them to do first?
Is it if anybody's going through anything
Yeah,
regarding
if they're
what?
going through a domestic violence situation, if they're struggling with anything, do you do you suggest them to talk to a friend? Would you suggest them to just pray because sometimes friends can give us bad advice? Um, what would you suggest?
Um, I would suggest that the ones that you hold near and dear and close, you those would be the ones I would say you would lean on a little bit more in those kind of times. Like my mom was like one of my rocks. So I found myself clinging and leaning in her a little bit more. So somebody that's going to be somebody that's going to like build you and encourage you, I would say that's something that you would definitely do because, like I said, when you're in those situations, you get to forgetting who you are, and because somebody's obviously telling you to go against who you normally and naturally are. So I would say, lean on the common or the what's common, what's normal, your normalcy. Somebody that's going to be able to encourage you and keep on fulfilling you, keep on replenishing you. So I would say that would be definitely a good start.
And when you were going through those situations, did you get to a point like where you would go off to yourself and just pray, or did you ever try to pray with your wife at the time?
Um, you know what? I didn't. We didn't go for as far as the prayer thing. We didn't do that because I just felt like when you dealing and living with a demon or somebody that's like really like going devilish, just really just diabolical shit. It's kind of hard to really sit down and pray with somebody that's like that you feel is the devil. Because I did feel like I was legitimately living with the devil. We
Wow.
talking about somebody that would change characters within a whole argument. This woman would go into different characters, and it would fluctuate throughout the conversation. She would go from being very very sad, then she would go into being very very aggressive, then she would go into being very very apologetic, and all these emotions would flow during the whole during the whole argument. So I honestly didn't know what I was dealing with. So I didn't know to pray with that particular individual in regards to that. So that
But
wasn't present.
do you think that that's important in a relationship?
Prayer,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely. I think prayer is the kind of the quintessential to each and every marriage or any situation like that. Prayer is definitely it's crucial. it's pivotal. But you got to get in there and pray and really, really like mean it, not being there play praying. I'm talking about crying out, nose running, snotty nose, eyes dripping, really crying out for God and asking Him to intercede in your situation. So that's definitely necessary, I believe.
Is there a favorite scripture you have, or like a favorite quote, or something you live by, or something
Um,
you often say to other people to help them through?
I don't know. I don't know if I can say this will help nobody through, but I have a comment that I utilize. It's my mantra that I use all the time, and you've heard me probably say this quite a bit. Is choose how you lose. You know, that's one of my things. I feel like choose how you lose. If you're gonna lose, if there's gonna be a loss on either end of the situation, when you choose how you lose, if you know you choose how you take it. So I mean, obviously, I'm not cheering or rooting for nobody to lose, but if the situation is no way of winning, either way you go, then you choose how you take the loss. And then usually, when you choose how you take the loss, you know how you're gonna bounce from that loss too, and you know how you're gonna react from that loss. So it's not all about losing; it's about what you do after you take the L. So that's
That kind of
that.
reminds me of the song Fantasia has. It's
Mm,
win to lose. Sometimes you
uh,
have to win. Sometimes you have to win to lose, or something.
yep,
Yeah,
there you go. So that's pretty much what I live by. Choose how you lose. So
yeah.
I don't have any. It don't come from nobody prophetic or prolific, but I feel like
That's
that's
okay. That's okay.
yeah. Choose how you lose. So I live by that every day. So
Yeah, I wasn't expecting for you to come up with something that like a prophet or somebody said.
oh, right,
I think a lot of times we get caught up in titles, and we're all human. Not saying that I don't. Not saying I want to disrespect anybody that has a title, but I'm just saying a lot of
right,
times we get caught up in titles, and we all are God's
absolutely,
people that's supposed to be here trying to help each other through this thing, you know.
absolutely. I
So,
totally
if
agree.
you could travel anywhere, where would it
Ooh,
be?
if I could travel anywhere, ooh, if I could travel anywhere.
That's when you know a man thinking, when he get the, rubbing the beard, you really into it, trying to figure it out.
I was. It's crazy. We just talked about this the other day. I would say Dubai.
Dubai?
Yeah,
Okay.
if I could do
Okay.
anywhere, I would say Dubai.
All
It's
right.
it just sounds like a relaxing, laid back, comfortable vibe. So I just would want to go there. That would be a place I.
Okay.
That's what's up.
And so, as far as your music, do you plan on getting back into singing?
It's crazy because my son keeps trying to pull me back in. My son is heavily trying to recruit me. So I guess if my son can come to me and we can come together, put together a nice song, I definitely would be willing to entertain it if the right situation presents itself. But you know, I do writing too. I write songs as well. So you know, I definitely would be open to writing a song for somebody or get into that for sure.
So if anybody is out there that is looking for an artist or looking for someone to write their music, Darin Scales is right here. We are going to put his information in. So you'll always be able to get a hold of him. I will even have my email in there. So if you want to contact him, you can go straight to my email, shoot me an email, and I will definitely get the information to him so that you can get your song written. How about that?
Okay, okay. I
I
would
think that
definitely.
would be really amazing. That would be great. I would
Man,
like to see you do more music. I think that and I want to ask you this too. Okay, so do you think possibly when you were singing and then when you got in that relationship because she didn't want you to do certain things, do you think like the devil maybe wanted her to shut you up because singing is delivers people. Singing is what helps people get through, and that was you grew up like that.
absolutely. Um, I definitely believe my singing ability was definitely God given. So anybody that's trying to stifle you from chasing something that God has given you, or accepting something that God has given to you, is definitely a form of the devil or Satan. So music and singing was my safe haven. It was my peace. It was my refuge. I can pour into my music so heavily, especially coming off of catastrophic situations or emotional situations or detrimental situations. I was able to definitely pour into my music quite heavily. And when you got somebody trying to steal your joy or take that away from you, then absolutely that is a form of the devil. Absolutely, I definitely believe that. So, but when you got somebody that's scared that you're gonna be bigger than them, that becomes a problem. You become a threat. And I believe that she didn't want me to become something bigger than what she can handle or maintain. Keeping me under her thumb was the main focus. So I definitely
But look
believe that.
at God. He's now
Right.
walking in his purpose.
Man, I'm able to flex on him now a little bit. I can flex on him a little bit.
I flex on him.
I can flex on him a little bit, just a little bit. Look
All
at what
right.
God
So
done.
yeah, he's done some amazing things. So again,
Yeah.
thank you for coming on to the show. We really enjoyed you. I would love to have you to come back onto the show later on for future topics. If you would come on with us and have some fun. Maybe even sing some songs to us. You know.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
all
Okay.
right. So we will definitely keep in contact with you, and you enjoy the rest of your day.
Well, thank you very much. You do the same. I appreciate you guys. Pain the purpose, true.
Thank you.
Oh.
See you soon.
All right.
The negative away from me because I am just keeping my peace. Cut off everything that no longer was serving me, and I chose to start loving myself.